need to take the next step to get your sales somewhere and then rely on the ultimate creator. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ladies. I am back with another how to be a boss babe type of video. Last time we chatted coffee chats, but today I'm going to tell you all about LinkedIn. Get ready. It's going to be a crash course on how best to utilize it for your own advantage when it comes to recruiting, networking, or whatever it might be. I'm going to walk you through tips and tricks on how to set up a LinkedIn profile, increase your network, and actually find job opportunities. So get your bev, whatever it might be, and let's get into it. What is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is the world's largest professional network that exists on the internet. And no, I was not paid to say that. I think it's just very accurate. It is a business and employment focused social media tool and app that's out there that you can either use it to find an internship or a full-time opportunity, connect and strengthen your network, and learn the skills that you need to in regards to becoming the best candidate that you can be when it comes to recruitment. Like I said, a super lightning speed crash course. So we're already jumping into one, how to set up your LinkedIn profile for optimization about getting yourself out there. There are a few steps here, so follow along, take some notes. First, your headline. Your headline is part of that first impression that people look in terms of your profile. It should communicate what you do, what you're about, maybe what you're passionate about, what industry that you're jumping into, or generally how you can help others or what value you bring if you are a creator out there in that space or a certain expert in a niche topic. Think of it as your elevator pitch in a much, much shorter character count. What do you want to communicate to brands out there, to recruiters out there, or generally people out there that you're trying to connect with? It is a summary of your entire professional brand. So ask yourself, what does your headline currently communicate? What comes up in Google searches? What are people writing that you want to mimic in regards to the certain industries you're looking to jump into? Mind you, there is only 220 characters available for you to communicate all of that. And like I said, this is not your summary, which we'll get to in a second. It's just that first impression of that one line or two lines that communicates industry, roles, and your product and services if that's what you're into. 2, background photo. It is the banner, not the headshot I'm talking about. Honestly, it's crazy how much people underutilize this entire visual space. It is that background behind your headshot that allows you to visually communicate what your headline is saying. It is one of the most prominent images on your entire profile. It allows you to showcase your own personal and professional brand regarding, like I said, those buzzwords I mentioned, industry, market, whatever it might be. Think of it as your hero image of your entire brand. Optimize this section to present your professional self. 3rd, headshot. Pretty self-explanatory. Having a profile picture actually increases your chances of being viewed by recruiters. Generally, you increase your chances of being viewed because there's a visual aspect to a person's name. I mean, think about it. I'm the type of person who actually remembers faces more than names. And so it's easy for me to scroll and browse folks by seeing their actual profile image, and that when I'm actually in a networking opportunity, I recognize them from their LinkedIn if that's how I connected with them. In terms of the who, what, where of the headshot, it is professional in nature, the lighting is good, it is essentially connects with that first impression along with your headline. It is visual imagery that provides that first impression when people are clicking or checking out your profile, because when you're searching for people, if there's recommendations about who to connect with, all you really see is their headshot, their name, and that headline that I was talking to you about. Number 4, your about or your summary section. This is where you can flesh out your elevator pitch, the who, what, where, and how or why of who you are, where you want to go, what your skill sets are, what you're passionate about, everything that you can condense. This is where it goes. Users are actually more likely to be contacted by recruiters if they read your summary because it is a snapshot of how you can be an asset to a team or a brand. This section highlights all of your professional experiences, achievements, skills, really whatever you want to communicate to a certain individual who might look at your profile and figure out who you are. So you get to determine whatever is relevant to your personal brand or your professional brand. For me, as a marketing folk, of course, I want to highlight my marketing experiences, the type of marketing or industry I'm looking to jump into, and also showcasing my personality, because it's important to be personable in the connections that you're trying to make and foster. Relationships that you're fostering, especially online, should be sincere and organic. I talked about how to actually set up coffee chats in my other previous video, so check that out if you want to figure out how to actually connect with somebody in chatting with them on LinkedIn. The summary section is essentially answering the following questions. Why should people care about you? What asset can you be to the team that you're applying to or company that you're looking at? It fundamentally is answering, who are you professionally? What do you stand for? What are your values? This is the greatest opportunity in space in terms of actual character count that you can flesh that out for recruiters or whoever it might be to understand more about yourself. The fifth and the last thing of your actual LinkedIn profile that is important to talk about is, of course, your work experience. This is a section that I would consider your digital resume. It's online. It's your walkthrough of your entire professional volunteer experiences, whatever it might be that you've been a part of. You should probably put that on there if it's especially more important to the certain role that you're applying for. It demonstrates professional experiences, your career progression, relevant skill sets, and it actually validates your own credibility. Some tips and tricks is you can actually attach multimedia when needed if you're including a portfolio sample. Trick here, when you are putting on descriptions of your work experiences, as anybody will tell you on a resume, quantify your achievements as much as you can. You need to use action-oriented language to showcase the results and the impact of what you did for a team or for the company. Highlight those skills as well. LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to actually bucket different skill sets that kind of serves as a snapshot of the actual description. Do both, I would highly recommend, because the skill sets that you highlight at the top will summarize those specific points of areas that you are an expert at, hopefully, and the description will be that quantified measures of the who, what, where, how, and the actual measurable impacts of your work. Those were the 5 key components of setting up your LinkedIn profile for best optimization of getting yourself out there in the professional world and increasing your chances of being visible to others to connect to. There are other aspects to your LinkedIn profile that you can optimize. You can highlight your honors and achievements. You can add an actual skill set at the bottom. You can get recommendations from folks. Those are, think about extra credit or bonuses that you can add to brand yourself on LinkedIn. These were just the basics that I feel like everyone across the board should be able to optimize. And it's an easy thing to just get yourself even more credible or even more established on this network. This next section of the video is actually going to be those tips, hacks, tricks, whatever you want to say, that I have used with actual results. So I'm sharing my wealth of knowledge to y'all because trust me, ladies, LinkedIn can become your best friend in terms of finding opportunities and reaching out to people. So let's talk about LinkedIn engagement. In order to get yourself out there, you need to be engaged on the platform. Do this in balance, do this in moderation. You don't want to be addicted. This is still a social media platform, so use it very healthily and balanced. Everything in moderation, of course, is what our religion tells us, but be engaged. That means you're reposting content that you find insightful, industry trends that you're looking at. You are posting content yourself if that's something you're interested in. You are talking about different facets that you have found interesting, studies that you've been working on, trends that you've been finding, whatever it might be, or even simply doing engagement tactics like commenting, liking, anything that will increase your visibility to those in your industry. Because the way LinkedIn works is if you're on your feed and you see somebody like or comment or repost, it actually brings you to the top of the feed and you can get to understand what your network is looking at. And so the algorithm is kind of insane, but you kind of get content that is targeted to what you're actually passionate about or you're looking at. Let's now talk about making connections. When you're first out there and you're building up your profile, connect with as many people as you know directly, right? You are establishing your sense of network. And then when you get to a stage of trying to expand your network, LinkedIn actually recommends folks to connect with. But I actually want to focus on finding connections that will allow you to set up those coffee chats that I talked about in last week's video. The greatest thing you can do is cold message. On LinkedIn, you can search up a company, a person, whatever you want, and it'll show up and populate based on recommendations and suggestions. You can go to a person's profile and you don't need to follow them, but here's a trick. You can click on the 3 corners and actually press connect if they're in the 3rd level of connection to you. And what I would always recommend is adding a note. This is where the art of cold messaging comes, because you have a certain allotted 300, I think, character count to communicate why you want to connect with this person and whether or not you want to set up that coffee chat that I was alluding to. Another trick, specifically when you're looking for these people, is the following. Type in a company, navigate to the people section of that company, and then filter. You can filter by industry. You can filter, in terms of role, specific profession. You can get so specific. And the trick is you can actually filter by school. So I would always harness first the alumni network that you're coming from if you've already graduated or in a current institution that you can rely on. You can search by school and create a cold message that revolves around that alumni network of giving back. And if you're not searching through that alumni route, like I said, you can always filter by specific profession or career route and then filter that cold message based on that interest. This next section is actually talking about job opportunities. LinkedIn has a feature where you can just find any job out there that is being promoted by a certain company. You navigate to their job section and type in a specific title or a niche industry, and then you can filter by entry-level positions, whether you're looking for internships, mid-level, entry-level. LinkedIn has those capabilities of featuring. I would highly recommend utilizing as many specific bucket of categories that you can to filter the recommendations to your actual subsect of what you're looking for. That way you're applying to things that ideally you have the experience for, you have the qualifications and skill sets for, and it allow you to ideally find the best fit for you. Like I said, this is a quick, short crash course about utilizing LinkedIn to your advantage. Take advantage of a space that is a one-stop shop oftentimes for professional development. You can professionally brand yourself to become that best candidate for a certain team that you're trying to apply for or a certain company that you're trying to tap into. I will always disclaim that it is a grind, but I just think, and I highly recommend LinkedIn to anybody who's out there trying to job hunt. It is an opportunity to digitally present yourself in the best of your capabilities as someone should take a chance on. And it is rigorous. Granted, the market is always going to be very competitive. Taking these steps to make yourself, to utilize LinkedIn to your competitive advantage might differentiate you and the other person applying for a certain role. Not always. I think what we have in terms of the greatest advantage is the trust and reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tie your camel. So yes, brand yourself on LinkedIn, utilize the tools and features that are out there for you, but always have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for whatever that decree is meant for you, it will happen. But you need to be proactive. Our deen teaches us that. You need to take the next step to get yourself somewhere and then rely on the ultimate creator to get you where it is, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners. He will, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, take you wherever you need to go. You need to have that reliance and full, wholehearted dependence on him. But tie your camel as well. So ladies, this is a quick, short, and sweet and simple one about leveraging LinkedIn. I hope you found it beneficial, inshallah, and I'll see you next time. Leave comments down below if you have any questions and I can help navigate technical difficulties when it comes to LinkedIn. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.